Hi there, my name is Steve Gearhart, and as always, this is the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the video. This is a labor of love, so it means a lot to me that you are here today to watch today's video, an anime review of Alma-chan Wants to Be a Family. Yes, a little robotic girl wants to have a family. Isn't that cute? Well, we'll get into that in just a moment. Hello, so we're going to do a anime review of Alma-chan Wants to Be a Family, but right before we get into that, you might be hearing a washing machine going on. That's because, yes, I am doing my laundry while I'm doing this. I'm trying to multitask, and I apologize for any noise that you might hear, but I like having clean clothes. I don't like being smelly, so there is that at least. I don't believe in the fanboy funk theory, so that's just me. Anyway, moving right along, Alma-chan Wants to Be a Family. So, again, this is one of those that came out this past October. I believe it was October 5th of this year, 2025. And it was part of the one of the anime watches that we did for Otaku Station over on Anime Archaeology YouTube channel. Link down below. Please check us out. We got a lot of stuff that we do deep dives on, and we also talk about like brand new episodes of brand new shows that come up on these watches. And this happened to be one of them. Alma-chan Wants to Be a Family. We thought it was kind of cute. Weren't sure if this was in our wheelhouse or not, but we did enjoy it. We watched the first episode, so I came back to it and gave it the 3-episode treatment to see, where it's going to go, what I think of it. Is this something that I would continue to watch? Is this something that I think you guys might like to watch? So I gave it the 3-episode treatment, and you can find it on Crunchyroll right now. So let us get into the particulars of this. Go into the ever helpful Wikipedia. So Alma-chan Wants to Be a Family. The original manga series by Nanateru lasted only 3 volumes. It went from July 9th, 2021 to February 2nd, 2024. Kadokawa Shoten was the publisher. And then they did they have a more current series that's ongoing, Alma-chan wa Kazaku, I guess, in Nanatarai Z. Sorry, my Japanese is horrible. And also probably would help if I put on my glasses. And that is again by Kadokawa Shoten. It started running in July of 2024, and it is at its present date. It has 2 volumes so far. The anime, like I said, came out this past October 5th, and a little bit about the manga artist, Nanateru. That person is kind of notable for this manga. Also worked on Strike Witches, Contrail of Witches. Was the author and artist on that one. Worked on Fate, Grand Order comic anthology, The Next. Who's he or she? I'm not sure who this person is. Was also author and artist. And there's a couple other unknown things here that can be looked up, but those are the kind of notable mentions, so to speak. So, what is this anime? What is this about? So the premise is that there's 2 scientists that really kind of don't like each other. Suzume, who is a amazing I think computer programmer and can write realistic software for AI and things like that. And NG, who is a more of a robotics engineer type of person, and so they came together to work on this project of creating a weaponized robot, but to do it in secret because they may or may not have permission to be doing this. And so they do this in secret, and what better way to keep the secret than to make a weaponized robot in the form of a little girl. So, of course, NG makes it in the form of this young girl, somewhere between 8 and 10, or 8 or 9 or something like that. And Suzume does the programming to make her as much of a little girl as she possibly can. Keep in mind this is AI, so she's very robotic and just doesn't know what it means to be human. No, we're not talking about Ghost in the Shell deep thought dive theory. No, we're talking about just she just doesn't know how to be a little girl. So comedy ensues. So they make Alma, call her Alma-chan, and they discover that they're going to have to, the Enji and Suzume are like, well, how do we get her data so that she's comfortable and can fit in with mankind, and secretly, and then when we present the project to them, we would have a finished product, so to speak. How do we do that? Well, since we put her in the form of a little girl, we should probably pretend to be her parents. At which point they look at each other and go, I don't like you though. Well, I don't like you. So all right, well, we'll just have to, in the name of science, we will have to work through this. So they do. And the first 3 episodes is a wonderfully funny, plot line of Alma learning how to be a little girl. And so she talks in a robot voice and, very expressionless, but is trying to learn, and she's putting things together. And, by the 3rd episode, she is actually in school, and she makes a friend. And the friend, of course, is the girl that everyone is scared of. And that's just not who that person is, really. Alma seems to figure that out. Keep in mind, she's a robot, so, emotions are still kind of new. And so she's making friends. Her parents are, having to revise the programming and various things, because sometimes Alma-chan blows up a city block by accident, trying to do something nice. Or she discovers that, there's a mutual attraction that neither of the parents want to admit is there. And she says some funny things, very adult funny things. And they're like, oh no, okay, we're gonna have to work on this. Now what's interesting is that when you watch the intro to Alma-chan Wants a Family, when you watch the intro, what you notice is some other characters that appear there that appear to be a villain, and a couple characters that seem to be superheroes. Now, we have not, by the end of episode 3, we are kind of looking at, I think, the heroes, and they're, around Alma's age, I think, and they have abilities. But we only get a brief moment of them standing on top of a rooftop doing the and kind of looking down, and we think this is the super group that is going to invite Alma-chan to be a part of. So does that happen? What happens that you become part of the super? So what happens to the whole robot destroyer program thing that the scientists want to work at? Do they become a family? Does Alma become a superhero? All these questions. So we get to that point by the end of the third episode. So I'm expecting something of a whiplash. If you continue to watch this, I think you'll be like, ow, a little bit, because I think it's gonna go into a totally different direction. But up to this point, I think it's been cute. I think it's been funny. Alma-chan is, while she is supposed to be the daughter of the 2 parents, she's the one that's probably the most adult. And, so she kind of helps everybody navigate through what they're doing. I don't know if you can hear that. That's really loud. So it's fun. It was a fun 3 episodes. Will I continue watching this? I think this is one of those anime for me where it's going to sit on the back burner. It's not quite my wheelhouse. I did enjoy it very much, actually, but there are other things that I want to watch first. And I think this will be one of those ones where I'll come back to from time to time and watch an episode or 2 here or there, and kind of like a palate cleanser kind of thing. So I think for me personally, I did enjoy it, and I would go back to it. It's just not high on my priority list. What about you, though? Would you like this? Would you want to do this? So if you want to kind of like a combination of like a little bit of a sci-fi comedy slice of life kind of thing, and you want something that doesn't have a whole lot of deeper meaning, no real existential threats going on, whatever, this is not Evangelion, right? If you're into that, this is definitely a thing. It is also definitely cute girls doing cute things, as they say. And I would recommend it as a palate cleanser. I would recommend it as something nice to watch, as opposed to, say, like, let's say you had a little too much of Chainsaw Man. So maybe you want something a little bit nicer. There you go. Alma-chan Wants a Family. Pretty good. I think so. All right, so that was the review for Alma-chan Wants a Family, a fun little anime to watch. Hope you enjoy it. So that is going to be it for this week. Thank you for putting up with the washing machine over here. And next week will be the Christmas episode. Yes, we're going to talk about Christmas. We're going to talk about Kentucky Fried Chicken. We're going to talk about a certain little anime, which I think I've brought up before and on the channel, but I don't know that if I've done a deep dive on it. Not a deep dive, but if I've reviewed it or not. I have talked about it if you were at Anime USA and you were at the anime from the bin panel that I did. Anime from the discount bin, sorry, that's what it was called. If you saw that, then you'll know which one I'm talking about. The descendant of Rudolph looks like he's been hitting the malt liquor a little too hard. So we'll be talking about that anime and a couple other things. And then will be the last episode of the year, wrapping up 2025. So hope to see you next week. That means that you guys have to feel good. So take care of yourselves because I love you guys. And as always, watch more anime.